Welcome back, subscribers, and welcome new viewers. And I want to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed, who like and share my videos, because that helps my whole channel to circulate to more and more individuals who are in need of this information just like you. And a special thanks for today's reading. That's going to be from Chiron book, my Chiron book, and the author is Melanie Reinhardt. And this is for all of you who have natal Chiron in aspect to natal Jupiter. And I want to specifically thank Kristi and Meaghan for this video being able to be put out so that everyone who has this aspect has the ability to listen and know consciously what this means for each and every one of you specifically. All right, and quickly, my book. Here it is. Oh my goodness. It's here. I just received it yesterday. Today is the 14th of October. So any of you who are interested and would like to buy a copy, then please send me an email at thecreativewoman369@gmail.com. I am doing all of this on my own, me solo, so sending and personally to you, and so it's the total is $22 plus the shipping. So again, just send me an email if you're interested and I will get that right out to you. Okay, so let's begin. Chiron in aspect to Jupiter. People with Chiron-Jupiter contacts often have Messianic, I hope I'm saying that right, tendencies. The nature of their message being indicated by the signs and houses involved. They are great seekers after an ever elusive enlightenment. Panacea, oh boy, I'm not sure, Panacea or ultimate truth. Oh, how outstanding. Jupiter rides Chiron like a hobby horse, off on his mission, keen to enlist as many fellow travelers as possible. Oh, that is so awesome. However, with a Chiron-Jupiter aspect, we could have big hopes or grandiose aspirations, but avoid human life in the areas covered by the aspect. Like Prometheus, punished by Zeus, we usually have to submit to great suffering there. And as you already know, Chiron, or if you don't know, Chiron is where we are first wounded and then where we are healed. If an inner conflict escalates, we may be unable to contain it, and our pain may prompt us to dedicate ourselves to global causes. However, as ordinary mortals with Chiron-Jupiter aspects, we are unlikely single-handedly to stop the arms race or end world famine. We may instead be called upon to recognize the inner pain we have invested in these causes. For example, if we have abused and ignored our own animal natures, we could become, oh boy, vociferous? Another word? Okay, I apologize. VOCIFEROUS. Animal rights campaigners. If we are inwardly divided against ourselves, we might follow the anti-apartheid bandwagon. If we are afraid of our own suppressed aggression, we might let me restate that. If we are afraid of our own suppressed aggression, we might protest about the violence on our streets. Okay. I'm not suggesting there is no value in committing our sense of injustice to a collective cause. However, as working astrologers, from time to time, we may encounter someone with a Chiron-Jupiter contact who harbors some such dream or is on a trip which has escalated out of all proportion and is asking for help. Although a down-to-earth approach may stave off disaster, the issue can perhaps also be seen as a valid symbolic expression of the person's religious instinct, indicating the inner path of integration which the psyche is trying to follow. And what I'm getting for all of you who have this placement, well, of course, your own self, you are going through these types of experiences through community action to do the best that, unbeknownst to you, to bring this out into your conscious awareness about your own personal self. And so now that you're listening to this, now you can, I'm sure some of you are saying, oh my goodness, okay, that's what I've done, or that's what I'm doing, or maybe this is what you will do, because you are going to actually experience this aspect, the Chiron Jupiter. And so at some point in your life, whenever you're listening to this, or maybe after you've listened to this, you will then be able to go back and see that you have actually done these experiences, because that is what Chiron in aspect to Jupiter is going to call to you, these specific types of experiences. So until you know this consciously, you don't know where it's coming from. But now you do. Now you do. Some are destined to enact or fulfill their self-appointed mission. Others may be called upon to sacrifice it for the sake of their own wholeness. However, it may be more appropriate to discuss the possible symbolic meaning than to give advice, for no matter how well meant, we may thus merely collude with the client's Chiron-Jupiter pattern of seeking an external spiritual authority. To quote D.H. Lawrence, I have outlived my mission and know no more of it. The teacher and savior are dead in me. Now I can go about my business into my single life. I wanted to be greater than the limits of my hands and feet, so I brought a betrayal on myself. For I have died, and now I know my own limits. The loss of a cherished vision or mission is often part of the life journey of those with Chiron-Jupiter aspects, as with Chiron in Sagittarius or the 9th house. Sometimes with Chiron-Jupiter, our capacity to symbolize and internalize meanings is itself wounded. We enact inner issues in a concrete way, which, at best, leaves us feeling drained and empty, and at worst, may cause emotional or financial catastrophe. On the other hand, with Jupiter in aspect to Chiron, we could experience quests, journeys, and pilgrimages that are immensely productive of healing and inner growth. The crucial factor is our willingness to reflect deeply on our experiences, to balance our expansion with enough stillness and introversion, where some inner synthesis, Jupiter, can be reached. If we let Chiron, Jupiter, run away with us, we are in danger of leaving a trail of unprocessed life experience behind us, because ungrounded and losing our humanity. On the other hand, if we affront Jupiter, we could become chained, like Prometheus, to the feeling of self-betrayal and denial of our vision and inner truth. People with Chiron-Jupiter contacts often have some extraordinary saving grace crop up in their lives. Some new factor will enter a situation just when all seems lost. On the other hand, the wound of betrayal, the wound of betrayed faith in God is frequently found. With Chiron in aspect to Jupiter, we may secretly feel special, favored, and beloved of the gods. With this attitude, we can initially win a lot of good things in life with our firm inner belief that we deserve them. But rage and indignation follow the rude awakening to our mortal limits. Misfortune may hit us hard as we are unprepared. Our unbounded optimism turns to despair and the belief that we are hounded by bad luck when things fail to work out as ideal. Pray to Allah but tie up your camel is a Sufi saying which addresses this. With Chiron Jupiter, however, we have an astonishing ability to bounce back from illnesses, personal tragedies, and crises of faith. Where Chiron Jupiter aspects are found, we tend to overdo things and to experience the extraordinary. We are very alive to the archetypal level of life in these areas, but sometimes also prone to excess, fanaticism, and Messianism. Ordinary life and simple truth can be lost, and we are prone to exaggeration in these areas of life. Those with Chiron Jupiter often enjoy taking risks and tempting fate. Zeus was sometimes said to have been the father of 3 fates who executed his decisions. Earlier versions of the myth, however, put supreme authority in the hands of the fates themselves. With Chiron Jupiter contacts, we may have a sneaky feeling that we are the final arbiter of our own destiny, which gets us into difficulties when we overstep our limits. We could, however, tend to play God while also testing life to see who is really in charge of what. We long for the boundaries which we cannot provide for ourselves. Chiron Jupiter aspects often signify a capacity to teach and inspire others and to assist them in the process of finding meaning in their own lives. We may have a gift for reaching an overview of situations, being able to bring out the best in people, their true hopes and aspirations. Some people may enjoy our positive outlook on life and our trust in its bounty. Sometimes, however, Chiron Jupiter signifies the wound of too much optimism. We could come from a family or a culture where any sign of depression or sadness is immediately dismissed, banished with positive thinking, or jollied out of existence with some distraction. Before we have learned to value our darker side, we might play a brittle Super Jupiter, role in order to prevent ourselves and others from seeing our pessimistic, moody, and depressive side, which sees neither meaning nor hope and has no comforting perspective of philosophical expansiveness. The Chironian and the Temple of Zeus, sharing the summit of Mount Pelion, are an evocative image here. There may be a manic depressive element in Chiron Jupiter people where the depression alternates with periods of elation and enthusiasm. Chiron Jupiter aspects sometimes indicate a wound to our sense of hope, optimism, and confidence in the bounty of life's possibilities. As children, our expansive feelings of generosity and optimism may have been crushed and thus have gone underground. Our parents may have had big hopes that were dashed. Perhaps they lost fortunes or felt dogged by bad luck. We may have been cautioned against being too happy and carefree. Their religious framework may have been too repressive and severe for our Jupiter to feel truly at home. They may have been atheists with no religious tradition. In this case, we carry the accumulated unconscious and suppressed religious aspirations of our ancestors. We could then find ourselves compelled to undertake a long search through various perils and extremes. The tendency to externalize is very powerful with this combination, and it often takes repeated delusionments for those with Chiron Jupiter aspects to be able to rediscover their inner spiritual authority. With Chiron Jupiter, we could be obsessed with finding higher meaning in the areas covered by the houses and signs in which the two planets are placed. Our intuition is strong, and we may have imitations. Yeah, intimations of the future, but also have difficulty bringing these possibilities or lofty ideas into form. Chiron spends part of its orbit between Saturn and Jupiter, and this perhaps symbolizes a perspective, Chiron, which can honor both the form, Saturn, and the meaning, Jupiter, without confusing or doing violence to either. Okay, and I'm skipping, as you might see, because this is a general reading, and so I'm going to keep it general. And so any of you who would like the written copy to read all of it, because she goes through and talks about specific Chiron and Jupiter in specific houses and planets. Again, I'm just doing a general overview, so you can get an idea for all of you, any of you listening. Again, so if you would like a written copy so that you can read all of the specifics, then just send me an email and I would be happy to do so. This illustrates yet another common Chiron-Jupiter theme where we tend to play god or goddess and then suffer dereliction. So let me say that sentence again. This illustrates yet another common Chiron-Jupiter theme where we tend to play god or goddess and then suffer dereliction. We inflate and deflate. With Chiron Jupiter, through acknowledging our deep need for an inner source of wisdom and guidance for ourselves, we can perhaps eventually relinquish these extremes and find the inner teacher speaking quietly within. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. And I also have my Chiron and Jupiter square. So, for those of you interested, well, that's all I have for you now. Until next time.